morning, everybody, and welcome to another day of Today at Work On. And today is the last really crummy day of the bathroom. That's going to be sanding the joint compound, which there's not much, but still sanding joint compound isn't really fun. And it's a grout party. So we got to grout all the tile on the floor, all the pebbles, and the walls. And then I have to finish cutting those tile. What I'll do is I'll cut in those tile at the end of the day, so I don't have to worry about walking on them, and then I'll just hit it with grout real fast tomorrow. But that's the plan for today. It's a pretty boring day, pretty labor intensive. Grout and joint compound. Might as well bang it out at once since it's really not fun. Maybe once I do that, maybe I'll throw in some outlets and stuff. Throw the dimmers in on the switches and throw in the humidity sensor on the electric if I have time. So I already purchased all that. So I basically clean everything up on the tile. There's little things I have to vacuum out. It's basically clean. So the more experience you get with tile, the more you have cleaner grout lines. It takes a while. It takes a while to learn all these things, but most of these grout lines are pretty clean for the most part. There's a little bit of dirt and gook here and there, but nothing crazy. When you first start tiling, if you never tiled before and you want to try to tile, the hardest thing with tiling is not having really snotty, I call them snotty grout spaces, because the 16th inch spacing, because what happens is then you can spend a full day just cleaning out your grout lines to make them look good. Enough talking, let me start grouting and sanding and having so much fun today. So enjoy. All right, I want to talk about grout. In the past, we've had sanded and unsanded. That is old school technology. That grout always used to, especially in shower floors, it used to really accumulate dirt and soap scum, and it was very porous. This new power grout, and there's also one, there's a few different types, but the one I'm using on this project is power grout, and it's made by Tech. It's basically a polymer grout. That's what other companies call it. This is called power grout. Now, it's a fast setting grout, but it doesn't mean it's going to set up in 2 minutes. It takes a little while to set up, and what a lot of people do is they screw up on when they put it on the walls, they wipe it off right away. So when you do the grout, you put it on, and then you let it set up for 10-15 minutes, and then you start sponging off, because what happens is you'll pull out too much grout in the grout lines. This power grout, it's not unsanded, it's not sanded, it's a cut above. It's so much better. Don't confuse it. A lot of people I'm reading are confusing the unsanded grout with sanded grout. Oh, I'm sorry. People are confusing sanded grout and unsanded grout with this power grout and the polymer grout. It's not the same. You got to treat this completely differently. Now you got to kind of be on top of your game, because once it starts setting up, it really sticks. It doesn't want to come off. So you really, at least two sponges, fresh water, and you should be fine. But don't be scared to buy it. It's not like it's quick setting where it's going to set up in a minute. It's like a 15-20 minute process, sometimes 30 minutes. It depends on how wet you mix the grout. So, and the other thing with this grout is it doesn't take as much water as the unsanded and sanded. So you also want to keep that in mind. So on that note, I'm going to start grouting. Well, I'm short grout. I only was given one bag. I don't think it's a big space with the 16th inch tile spacing, but the pebbles took up a ton. They always take up a ton of grout, so I have to go and get more grout, basically, kind of a buzzkill. So I don't know if I'm gonna go today. I still have a few things to do, so I'm probably gonna go out, grab some lunch, probably sand the drywall, and then once I sand the drywall, I will cut in that last few pieces of tile and then grout this floor, and then I'm pretty much done for the day because I can't really do much else with the grout setting up on the floor. So that's just the problem with grout. You can't really do much. And then tomorrow I'll start finishing up. I'll have to go get grout in the morning, so it's gonna kill a good hour, and then I'll grout this floor and then I'll put in the vanity. So, oh well, what are you gonna do? But that's it, it's always something. It's always something. So, but it's looking really good. I dried it off as much as possible. It feels really clean. So, I mean, there's a little bit of dust on it, but once it really dries, I can hit it one more time with a rag and it'll look good. But you just have to be really on top of the grout to make sure it doesn't dry and stick, because once it sticks, it's basically like an adhesive. It's not like the old school grout. You would have to buy a chemical, and the chemical would work to take off the grout, but it's a mess. You do not want to get into that. So looks good. I'm gonna go to lunch and I'll be back in a bit. Back from lunch, I'm gonna cut in these tile real fast, and then I'm gonna grout this floor. Oh no, I'm gonna cut in the tile, do the joint compound, and then grout this floor, and then clean up, because I'm gonna organize and clean everything up. So let me get going on that. Well, welcome to another day of Today I Work On, and today I got the grout. I'm going to grout the rest of the floor and just a little bit of wall, and then I also bought the grout caulk, and I'm going to caulk everything in. And that's it for today, because my clients need another day to paint. They started going, but they just didn't have the right tools to get the paint done. That's where we're at. This morning was a rough morning because I actually got my van stuck on my property, and that took half my morning. Oh, that was fun. But 80 feet of line and chain later, I was able to pull my van out with the truck. But on that note, I'm gonna start mixing up some grout and I'm gonna get this going. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another day of Today I Work On. And today, I get to paint the bathroom. My clients, they were really ambitious. They wanted to paint, but they're kind of new to painting and new to home ownership, so they got a little flustered the other night trying to paint over here, you could see, and I offered the paint. Now, most times I would have my painter come and paint, but this bathroom is obviously way too small for him to come out and paint, so I offered the paint. So I'm gonna paint today. I'm gonna try to get most of it done. So first coat primer, PVA primer, and then we'll bang out the ceiling really fast, and I'll try to get 2 coats on the walls. I'll see what happens. This big old vanity's in the way right now, so it's kind of, I don't want to take it out because it just fits this space. So it's kind of bulky and I don't want to destroy it or anything, but it's a beautiful vanity. I don't know if you could see it, but it's a beautiful vanity. They got it from my tile company that I use, and it looks really good. The grout looks amazing on the floor. I just have to hit it with some hit it with a towel, clean it up a little bit, put some caulking in the corners, but this bathroom's looking really good. They still have to go and get the material for the counter, for the saddle, and for the bench. Like I said, they've been super busy, so they haven't had a chance to get that. What I'm gonna do as most as I can after I paint. I get set the vanity in, do all the baseboard, do the trim in the bathroom, and then it will look basically done. And I'll have one more day of work. That'll be probably tomorrow. But today I'm gonna paint, get this place looking all nice and fresh. So let me start working on that. Well, that was a pretty boring time lapse because I was painting, but the painting is done. Well, the painting's not completely done. I still have to do some trim around the door and then around the baseboards, and then I still have to set this vanity. I'm gonna set it tomorrow, put in the outlets, and put in the plumbing here. Tomorrow, I should be pretty much close to wrapped up on this project. I'm really glad the clients let me paint because now it looks really good. Sometimes some clients, they want to save some money and paint, and then I come back in like 6 months or a year or 2 months and I go, oh, looks good. And sometimes it's just actually, in honesty, it doesn't look good. So I always say, you're gonna spend all this money on a beautiful bathroom. I always get the option to paint. And I don't really love painting, but for a small bathroom like this, I can't get my painting guy in, so I usually have to do it, and it's fine. It's usually a day and a half of work. It's just, if you watch the time lapse, it's super boring, and I'm a very ADD type of a person, so super boring and me just doesn't really work very well. So I always like some type of action. That's why I like doing these bathrooms and kitchens. But on that note, we're really close to finishing this one up. We're going on, well, yesterday was really a non-day. Today is day 17 on this project, so we're at 3.5 weeks. For a shower like this with the bench, with a custom shower pan, that's about right. Standard bathrooms usually take 2 weeks. So whenever you add all this extra waterproofing and more tile work, and niches and pebble walls, it always adds up on time. That's about right. I guess you could do it in 3 weeks if you really were pushing long days, but then you get burnt out, and that's not fun. Who wants to get burnt out? On that note, done for today. I have a couple estimates I gotta go to right now. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you tomorrow. And tomorrow, that's when it gets exciting. And the other thing is my client actually went out today and is getting the material for the tops. And the thing about me is I like giving my clients the power to pick what they like. I'm a very pro-choice type of a contractor. I don't like to lock and corner someone into picking out just a few specific things. There's a lot of design build companies that do that. If you're paying good money, right, shouldn't you have the options to get what you actually like? And I always have been leading my clients in the direction to go to pick out material. So I try to make it as easy as possible. So that's it. Done for today. See you tomorrow.